Okay, my Orca students, so here's the section 421 that I would like to do before the next time I see you, since I would like to just jump into 422. So thanks for taking notes on this and turning it into Google Classroom to earn your Easy 100. So if you turn to page, okay, so I'm not sure it's going to be the same page number, but go to section 421, which is page 63 for me. You are going to see that they introduce the concept of determinants. So there's another way to find an inverse of a matrix other than the way you have been practicing through augmented matrices. And so I know for sure you will prefer this method, especially if the one you have been taught recently has been quite the headache. So let's talk about a determinant. A determinant is basically a representative number of your matrix, all right? Now what we're going to do, for instance, if you're looking at a 2x2 matrix, let's let A be a matrix that's 2x2, and we are going to label it like this, okay? And notice that this matrix is a square matrix, okay? The same number of rows and columns. If I wanted to evaluate the determinant of matrix A, okay, you would write it as DET for the word determinant, put the name of the matrix, and the way you would evaluate it is cross multiply and then subtract the value of those two numbers. So you will multiply A times D and then subtract it from the result that you got from B times C. So notice there's a bit of cross multiplication here going on. Multiply those two, get an answer, multiply those two, and subtract that number from the previous answer, okay? Okay, so again, this answer you get is going to be a representative number of your square matrix. Now, if you look at section 421 exercises, let us practice doing determinants. So let's start with number 1. So the matrix number 1 was -1, 4, what was it? -1, 4, 5, and 20, because they were asking us for matrix A. So matrix A, goodness, this is not working with me. Matrix A is then going to be -1, 4, 4, 5, and 20. So all you would do is cross multiply. So -1 times 20 is -20. I put the minus, and then I do 5 times 4 is 20. So I'm going to get a -40. Okay, let us try the next one. Let's go to number 2. Number 2 is matrix B. So, by the way, the symbol that I'm writing there with bars, that is the way you symbolically write matrix B. Not matrix B, my apologies, determinant B, okay? So you can do it upstairs using the letters DET and then put the letter B, or you can use the bars that look like absolute value bars, but please if you're working in a matrix section, you don't say you don't say absolute value of B, you say determinant of B. So it makes a big deal to know what what concept you're working with, okay? So those bars in this case has to do with matrices. We're in the matrix section, so it's going to be determinant. Okay, so basically 10 times -7 is -70. We put the minus, and then 5 times 10 is a 50. Okay, -120. So I want you to pause the video at this point, and I'm going to want you to do number 3 and number 4. Okay, so pause, because then I'm going to show you my work and you can check it. All right, pause it now. Okay, so you should be back, and you were supposed to find matrix C, D, and now I keep saying matrices, my goodness, determinants C, D, and E. I told you 3 and 4. I guess I should have told you to go all the way to 5. So you can always pause the video again. So let's find the determinant of C. So we have 7, -1, -7 and 4. So you're going to have a 28 because of the 7 times 4 minus, and -1 times 7 is a positive 7. So you should have gotten a 21. Let's do determinant D. Goodness, I actually said it correctly this time. Determinant D, numbers were 2, -1, 0, -9. Again, we will cross multiply. And then -1 times 0 is just a 0. So you get a -18. Let's go over to number 5. You're going to find the determinant of matrix E. And this time they're putting variables inside of the determinant. Cross multiply, 2x times 10, 20x. I put the minus for my formula, and then -5 times x is a -5x. So be careful with the minus of the formula that it doesn't get mixed up with, oh my goodness, it's 20x, not 20, that it doesn't get mixed up with the negative of your number, 25x, okay? So now, what do we do when we are given a 3 by 3 matrix, okay? What do we do with a 3 by 3 matrix? How do we find the determinant of that? Alrighty, so this is how it's done, okay? So let's look at a 3 by 3 matrix first. So I am going to, let's see, your book does it differently as far as writing. I'm debating if to write it like they did. I'm going to try something else, okay? Given a 3 by 3 matrix. Okay, so let's call it matrix B. And let's say matrix B looks like this. A, B, C, D, E, F. Let me erase all these marks. D, E, F, G, H, I. Okay, and I'm asked, let me put this wrist guard, and I'm asked to find, let's say I'm asking you to find determinant B. Okay. All right, so in this case, you are going to have a different type of approach, okay? So here is how you do it if it's a 3 by 3. So matrix B, find the determinant. So the first thing I want you to do is you circle the first number, just for visual purposes, okay? Circle the first number in the top row. What that does is it tells you that's going to be your coefficient, okay? So I'm going to write A right there because that's the one I circled. And then what it does too is that it pretty much blocks off those numbers, okay? And tells you to only focus on the 4 that are left over. So the 4 that are left over look like a 2 by 2 matrix. And how do you find the determinant of a 2 by 2 matrix? Well, instead of putting bars, I'm going to put a parentheses. I cross multiply. I do E times I, and then I subtract the multiplication of H times F, or F times H, whatever you want to write. Okay? So basically, again, you're taking these two and subtracting these two. You with me? Okay. Now, let me undo those two circles. Now, I wish I could undo certain things. Now what you're going to do is, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to use a different highlighter. Then you are going to go to the next one. Okay, so the next one we're going to use dark pink. You're going to look at this number here. Okay, but that number will always have a negative in front of it. Okay, and I'm going to put here always negative. And now with the D, notice you're going to highlight this and this. So now you have 4 numbers left over, the B, C, H, and I. So open parentheses, cross multiply. So pretend the pink in the middle is not there, okay? So I'm taking this and this, which is the B and the I, minus, because it's always minus, and then this and this, which is the C and the H, or the H and the C, whichever one you want to do. Okay? That makes sense? Hold on, I'm going to write this over so that I can actually erase that thing. Hold on. B and I minus H times C. I did that so I can actually erase. So we did this right here, okay? Because I can't touch that E and F stuff. And then I'm doing this and this, okay? Because D, E, F is supposed to be wiped away. All right, now, then I do the last one. Let's change it to, let's do blue, light blue. I'm gonna focus on this one, okay? So that means when I'm highlighting, I need to do a light blue. So that means with the G, I'm still erasing the top row, but now I'm erasing the 3rd row. So I'm left with a G, which is going to be plus G. I'll write it here since I'm running out of space. Cross multiply. So the cross multiply left me with BF minus EC. Again, the BF is right here, and the EC is right here. That's how you would find the determinant of a 3x3 matrix. So let's practice. Move over. Let's do number 6 together, and then you will do number 7. All right, so what color? Let's use this funky red. Number 6. We are looking to find the determinant of 4, 5, negative 2. Yikes. Discard. 4, 5, negative 2. 0, 1, 1. 3, 2, negative 1. Okay, so let's do our thing. Let us start with, let's do gray. I'm circling this. So I am going to highlight this and this to get rid of it. Okay, and you don't have to do it. If you can visually see it, don't worry about all the little colors I'm doing. 4 times 1 times negative 1 is a negative 1. I put my minus. Wow, my phone is really loud. 4 times 4 open parentheses. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. And then 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, so I did these 2 to get negative 1. Then I put a minus. And then I did these 2 and I put a 2. Next. Go on to the next one. Let's do orange. Look, focusing on this now. Okay. And let's do orange highlight. So now I'm wiping out the top again. Notice you always wipe out the top, but I'm wiping out the middle row. So remember, it's always going to be minus. Always, always minus. I used my number that's in the middle. This was a 0. And I don't even have to write the parentheses out because of the 0, but just for practicing purposes, 5 times negative 1 is negative 5 minus 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. So negative 4. So notice that minus and negative. Be careful with those. And last but not least, let's focus on the 3. So the 3 tells us now to eliminate the top and eliminate the last row. So plus 3, then I open parentheses, 5 times 1 is a 5, to put my minus of my formula, negative 2 times 1 is negative 2, and now it's nothing else to worry about but basic math. 4 times negative 3, I'm just going to put minus 0, plus 3 times 7, negative 12, plus 21, and it's 9. Hopefully you had no issues there, because now I want you to do number 7 on your own, and I'm going to do that a little prettier. It's hard to write nicely on this iPad. And the answer you should get to this matrix, 1, 0, 2, 3, negative 1, and 4, 5, negative 3, negative 2. I want you to show me the work, okay, and make sure you get 6 as an answer. Thank you for sacrificing 16 minutes or almost 17 minutes of your time to watch this video. You guys rock. See you in class.